What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here. We are back with the Expedition of the Damned Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition campaign. I'm your DM for the night, Jumbo Thick, and we have the full cast and crew of the Expedition proper. Let's do some brief introductions. We've got a long-awaited game. I've been on vacation a couple weeks, so we're getting it all back in flow. Kick this off. Let's kick this off with the one and only Pierce Galactic.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris Galactic. Everybody, I play Wolfram, everybody's favorite handgunner. I don't really have much to say. I feel different. I don't know if I feel taller. I don't know if I got a tan or something like that, but I just feel different.
Yes.
More powerful. I also I don't know how this urge to really think about my future. I get that 401k correct. I mean, it's really kind of plan out because I feel like I'm going to be around for a long time.
For the long haul, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll go over particulars of that as the game progresses, but for now,
I heard it's not great.
So it could be good. Could be good. Let's slide on down to Nate.
Hey everybody, Nate here, playing Lucien Levesque, human duelist, wielding rapier, swordbreaker, sometimes pistol, sporting very nice cloak of deflection, and really hoping we can, see Sudenburg in the distance.
See it in the distance. We're just waiting for it.
Putting these Skaven in the ground, kicking the sand off our feet.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Let's slide on over to Dan Decker.
All right, everyone. The one and only Dan Decker here, playing Nog Through River, our resident ogre, and I like to eat people mostly.
Yes.
Hopefully, never my friends. But I have a halfling, which is cooler than some of the things other people have. And his name is Rory, and he helps me out quite a lot. And I carry a very large sword and a very large gun.
Indeed.
And a very large belly.
There's that.
I feel like Nog's probably gained himself quite the reputation.
I would think so. So.
And the favor of them all.
Exactly. The favor of them all. The man-eater he is. Let's slide on over to Jumbo Smooth, if he can speak.
Hello, everyone. I am Jumbo Smooth. I have a child who will be joining us today. And I play Luther Steinhauer. He is a pyromancer wizard from the College of Fire. And he's excited to see what's happened to Wolfram, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Only good things. And last but not least, Doobie 209.
Yes, I play Henry, a now Knights commander. And I'm just hoping that, maybe this is the session we finally make it to.
The session we finally make it.
Wherever, I forgot where we're headed.
He doesn't even know where we're going. It's been so long.
We can finally start the campaign.
We can finally
almost
start
as though
the
this
campaign.
expedition were damned.
That's right. That's what this game was about.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, let us begin then. Last we left off, the expedition has found itself a little split, being so that one of our party members is been separated. But while he was, Mr. Luthor, Henry, Nog, and Lucien headed a reverse ambush, I guess we'll call it, on the Skaven. As they made one last attempt, it appeared, to crush the expedition proper and get what the Grey Seer wanted oh so badly. However, through good tactics, very good rolling, and some sound decisions, the Skaven tide was turned very quickly with minimal losses, and to the detriment of all of their leadership, with their warlord being crushed, as well as their the infamous Grey Seer and his rat ogre Bonebreaker being killed and eaten by Nog. in one of the worst ways.
A tragedy.
It was indeed a tragedy as we lay to rest the infamous Gracier Thrilk and his kind. Long may he graze the horned rat's domain. However, after all that, putting the Skaven hopefully to rest for the last time, Wolfram, to the surprise of himself and probably most of the audience, awoke as he was in fact not dead. But he found himself bound and at the mercy, or should I say the the possible indentured servitude of a very powerful skeletal lich that the most of us would know as the infamous Arcan the Black. And his supplicants or minions, whatever you'd like to call them, one of them being a strange-looking, like bow-backed, crippled necromancer, as well as a surprisingly short armored figure that we had run into before in the noble vampiric visage of Sir Bragadine Bonneau. Lord Bragadine Bonneau. And a conversation ensued. Wolfram, of course, listened in, as he does. And ultimately, he was given a choice, as apparently he was stabilized with some possibly foul sorcery. And Arcan gave Wolfram a skin of a kind, a way to imbibe a certain elixir, an elixir of life, the very thing that stabilized him to begin with, and that will ultimately grant him more and more powerful abilities should he consume it. For now, it has made him not dead and able to be with the rest of us. We will go over the effects of that as it comes up, Wolfram. should it come up. I went ahead and I have like a table for it now. I have a whole sheet for the elixir at this point. And should you consume more, you will gain more benefits, but you will also begin to lose certain aspects of your mortality that might have gain.
I didn't agree to that,
effects.
bro. I thought it just got powerful.
This is how it's going to happen. You will cease to become less human, and you'll become more something else. Should you agree to do so, it will be your choice.
I have a quick question. I know that I'm immune from corruption, apparently, from here on out.
So for now, with one pull, you can still gain corruption.
Okay.
For now.
So I still have my mutations, right?
You do. You do still have your mutations.
All right. Cool. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. But with that, we are actually picking up with Wolfram as you were being escorted out of the hut. As you are on the verge of leaving, the skeletal lich sitting on the bone throne holds up a hand, and Bragadine stops Lord Bonneau, and he turns with kind of a sneer on his face, and you hear it strangely, this skeletal creature speaks, and it must be some form of magic of some kind. And Arcan begins to say, perhaps I sense a change on the winds. We should move forward our plans. Prepare him. Bragadine smiles and clutches a hand over your mouth. Powerful. Are you resisting, Wolfram?
Could resist a little bit, maybe.
Do a little bit of squirming.
Yeah.
It's for show.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize I'm in trouble here, so.
It's for show.
But
it's at this point that you begin
hate's better than waste.
You begin to feel prickling along your skin almost like an electric charge building up in the air around you. And then you see as what look like writhing pieces of shadow begin to lift from the ground around you, around the tent, around this nearby area. As everything is engulfed in blackness, we move over to the rest of our crew, who find themselves, after the defeat of the foul Skaven, amidst the ruins of some lost city. There are some items that you can remove from the Skaven corpses. Most of them are foul and probably not worth touching, as most of you would agree to. However, the Grey Seer, Thrilk, as Nog is eating him, bites down and feels that his teeth begin to crunch on a piece of wood.
Oh, no.
And he kind of like picks it out, and it is what looks like a snuff box. I mean, you're more than welcome to eat it, Nog, if you'd like, but it is an item of some kind.
Is Mr. Luther nearby?
He kind of, Roy goes, "Oi, I bet Mr. Luther would like that, Mr. Nog. Perhaps I'll go give it to him. Why, will you finish your meal?"
The young homies, they like that snuffy stuff.
Indeed, sir. So he takes the stuff box. It's large in his hands. For you, it was like your thumbnail or something. He takes it and begins to run off back towards the rest of the camp. As most people are.
My hand.
What was that, Nog?
That Roy fits in the palm of my hand.
Sure, he could easily, yeah. He could sit down in it for sure.
That just makes me happy.
So he runs off with the snuff box, and most people from the expedition are avoiding the savage sounds of your consumption, Nog. Up on the hill where they can't see what you're doing to not only the Grey Seer, but also his very large mount. I will remind you, it was huge. And you are eating it. You will be very much fulfilled, Nog. Very much so. However, that was one item that you will procure for sure. We'll reveal that to Luther momentarily. As well, the warlord's armor survives his ultimate fate, and it seems to be relatively intact. Strangely enough, I mean, it's human-sized. It would be considered plate armor. It does have foul runes etched into it, but it seems powerful. If someone would like to claim it. Henry shakes his head.
We just leave that there?
No.
What was it?
It is the warlord's armor.
Oh, it wouldn't work for me.
No, it's too small for you, Nog. I'm sorry. It would fit one of our human companions.
It might fit Wolfram. Maybe you guys should claim it for him.
It is
player. I would take that.
Human-sized. The warlord was much more muscular than the average rat man, so he would have been about the size of an average man at that point. So, okay. Well, if we're not, I'll just toss that one in the trash. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the stuff box then.
I mean, I'm so worried that even if I look at the runes, I'll probably get a pretty point of corruption.
It's true. Rory brings you a what looks like a wooden box that has what looks like a large imprint of what looks like a massive molar tooth, where Nog bit down into it. You see it, and you see that it has Queekish writing carved into it. You're like, obviously Skaven.
Yeah.
It appears to be some kind of box, a snuff box, more than likely.
Do I sense what's it called? Warpstone inside the snuff box?
You don't sense anything with it closed.
Okay. I'll check for traps. I got magic I can do.
I hate it.
What may I do, bro?
There don't appear to be any traps, Luther.
Okay, then I open it and witness the
Luther,
horror that's inside.
You open the lid and you see within a large amount of powdered green dust. It is most certainly warpstone.
Warpstone.
It's obviously.
I close the box.
Close the box. Seeing it, especially in its powdered, refined form, Luther, you would know, because this does happen sometimes in the Empire, that should a user resort to snorting some of this refined warpstone powder, a sorcerer's magical abilities are drastically increased for a short period of time.
Go ahead and put that in the old satchel.
How much corruption do you take from snorting it?
You do take a decent amount of corruption.
I assume,
Is
probably worth it though.
Desperate times, who knows?
Wolfram says it's worth it,
Wolfram's a wise man.
Yes, very wise.
My hand.
Regardless, though, as that happens, Luther, you notice, well, first off, the sounds of Nog's eating does not cease for quite some time. You guys are more than welcome to talk amongst yourselves or make plans, whatever you'd like to do. Or we can make camp and make ready for the next day.
Was the weapon that the warlord used humanoid as well?
It was. It, in fact, was. He had what looked like a large axe. No, it was a hammer. Okay. It was a hammer.
Hammer.
So it's a large hammer.
Okay.
You have to look for it. It takes you some time. It's not with the body.
Okay.
But after looking for it, you find it. And the first thing you notice, Luther, is that you find it anathema to yourself. As you approach, you feel weak. Like you can't be in its vicinity.
Interesting.
You notice it has what looks. First off, it's very well crafted, much better than what the Skaven craftsmanship is worth doing. You see that there has been no modifications to it. It looks like a pristine warhammer. It looks like it's gleaming as if someone's been polishing it.
Now, does it look dwarven or human? Elvish?
It would appear to be dwarven in some way. This is most certainly a Dawi hammer.
I'll probably call over to Lucien and Henry. Nog, if he's finished his meal.
Nog is still eating. Nog is consuming.
Okay.
It's going to be a while for him to eat that gigantic bone breaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll call over Henry and Lucien.
Can I go over and ask Nog to save the horns off of Throk's head so I can have them?
You approach Nog. He's feverishly eating.
And what I'll say is that if Rory's nearby, he hears said request. He's willing to get into the muck near me, and I'm just like, and I kind of toss him off. Not aggressively, but just
he's just kind of like,
like of course.
Catches like the top of the skull.
I'll get this pulse up for you, Mr. Lucien. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. I'll have it cleaned off in just a jiff.
Thank you, Rory.
He begins to boil a pot. He's gonna clean these horns for you. But Luther calls over both Lucien and Henry to show you the dwarven hammer that was in the possession of the warlord.
My friends, I think I've discovered something interesting here. I'm just going to take a few steps back. whatever this hammer is, it appears to dampen my winds of magic. From what I can tell, it looks to be made of Dowie construction. As you well know, they are well known for their artisans and and weaponsmiths, armor smiths. Perhaps this could be of use to you. It doesn't appear to be corrupted from what I can tell, but and from my understanding, limited understanding, mind you, that Dowie creations are hard to corrupt. If it can nullify magic, it could be very valuable.
It looks like a two-handed, like what would be the equivalent of a warhammer.
Could be useful in Nogzans. No?
That is well.
It would be like a one-handed
for him. Yeah.
Weapon for him. He wouldn't get the full benefits.
Sounds like I will take it then.
Of course.
I am proficient in two-handed weapons.
You pick it up, Henry. You grasp a hold of it. You feel a sizzling sensation across your palm. It persists.
It burns for you.
Is it getting like more painful, or does it just stay?
It just feels like a tingling, almost like burning sensation, where your hand is grasping the haft.
All right.
It's not getting any worse.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if you I should say, are you wearing your male like gauntlets?
Yeah, I assume fully.
In that case, you would feel nothing.
Okay. I'm armored up right now. I just killed a whole bunch of Skaven.
You grab it, look at it. You can see there are some definitely Dowie runes carved into the head of this hammer. It's not as heavy as you expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not light by any means. But it's also it feels like the equivalent of what a normal warhammer should weigh, although it looks a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's bigger than a normal one, but weighs the same.
Yeah, about the same.
What color was it?
It is.
Like gold or
it
brass?
was. It's actually like a brass color.
Okay.
It has a name that you obviously can't read.
Yes.
Because no one speaks
Khazalid?
Dwarvish. Yeah, no one speaks Khazalid.
Luther, I'm assuming that you do not speak the language of the dwarves.
Alas, I do not. And with time, of course, I can master it. But currently, no.
Yes, well, perhaps in time we can decipher what these translations.
I wonder if there's anyone that could translate it for you.
That old man.
Of course, our magical man Feng Shi perhaps could have some insights into perhaps Khazalid. He is a tradesman after all. Perhaps he's had dealings with the dwarvish people, the Dowie.
Very well. Did we lose any people?
Only a few men, which is surprising, given the scale of bodies that were destroyed. A couple veterans went down, but you're still holding on. You didn't lose any knights, which is shocking.
When all the looting is done, she'll bury the bodies. Actually, I guess we'd burn them. We wouldn't bury them.
I was about to say, foolish. We will burn them.
And we build a pyre.
Luther's burning these bodies. Let's be honest.
Yes. Heroes send off.
As this happens, Henry, I'm assuming you consult Feng Shi about your new hammer.
Yeah, whenever the time comes.
Feng Shi moves up to you.
Oh, yes. Master-crafted work, friend, indeed. You see, the runes here and here. These will nullify the winds, they will. says here this is known as the Mage Slayer.
What you're saying, Feng-Shi, is I should stay away from Luther.
It will dampen the winds around you. And should you strike a creature of the more chaotic nature, they will suffer greatly.
It is unfortunate this weapon fell into the hands of the enemy.
Indeed. Henry, for all purposes, the mage, oh, excuse me, Mage Crusher, not Mage Slayer. The Mage Crusher acts like a normal warhammer.
Yes.
However, when striking an enemy that has that is either a caster of regular magic, not like a priest or, you know, a caster, or a creature born of chaos, like a demon or anything like that, it gains the impact quality, as well as the piercing quality, and you can double your strength bonus for the damage inflicted.
Feng-Shi, my knowledge of the dwarves is very limited, but if we were to come across one that saw me with such a weapon, would that entail anything?
Sure, they would ask you where you found it, and should you have come across it rightly, as you did, it would more than likely be gifted to you. Should they decide that it is part of their ancestors, they might request it. But it is, by all means, yours to wield. Better you than the foul rat.
That is true. Hope I would give this weapon an honorable use, and if the Dowie ask for it back, I shall grant it to them.
Indeed.
Oh.
And Feng-Shi kind of struts away over to his magical wagon, the transforming wagon, and begins to muck about on the inside. Is there anything else we would like to do in the meantime? Here's not. We rest for the night then. Would anybody like to take a watch tonight, or?
Oh, Nog's well fed. He'll take a first watch.
Of course not. Nog's gonna keep a lookout for the party.
What, anything might come along, I'll just eat it anyway.
No, why don't you give me a perception check, Nog. You know,
For sure.
Let's
roll some.
Let's see how we're doing.
Nog's best at perception. He really is.
Exactly.
Let's find out how that goes. There's no problem here.
No.
All right. Come on, D100. A little roll. Do me right. Ooh, that's a 55, but I'm
that's
still
a
36.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's gonna be a critical fail, Nog.
Yeah, because Roy only makes it a 46, so still.
Yep.
It's level 11.
Yep.
Critical
so,
fail.
with that, Nog, you are engorged, Nog. Engorged. To the point where
a little lethargic.
The point where you just you're sitting there. The rest of the encampment has gone quiet. Everyone's very still. And you kind of just begin to drift. And as you drift asleep, we witness as Wolfram, You begin to see light, dim. You feel sand beneath your feet, where before there was a rug. And as the inky, shadowy tendrils pull away from you, Wolfram, you are standing probably 30 feet from what looks like a wagon you recognize. You see the slumbering forms and tents of the expedition. You see the large golem burning of Luther's. You see the many war horses lashed together and still wearing some of their, or not wearing any of their armor at this point as the barding was taken off, of Henry's knights. And you see Nog sleeping peacefully, not very far away, next to what looks like the remains of a massive meal consumed. The hand is still clutched over your mouth.
What?
Of Bragadin, the Lord. He whispers in your ear, "Now don't make this difficult. Be a good boy."
Okay, sure, we're on.
No talking. He squeezes a little bit tighter. Now, the master wants you to have this. He points towards the, or doesn't point, he kind of like nudges the like flask container for the elixir that was given to you. Remember it well. And this, he shows you in his other hand what looks like a gold scarab. It looks like it's made from solid gold and encrusted with jewels. Bit wasted on you, but should you need it, it should protect you in good time. Use it wisely. It's a waste, if you ask me, as he presses it into your pockets. You hear behind you the shifting of movement. Bragadin begins to let go of your mouth and release you. The Lich sitting on his throne has risen, the tent no longer present. He stands up in his full glory, his large headdress pointing towards the moonlit sky. His staff curling intricately in bones, and the kind of like crusted jewels across it begins to dazzle but then dim as he begins to speak in a strange language. Green fiery orbs awaken in his eye sockets, and you watch as green sorceress energy begins to waft out of his chest cavity and across his limbs. You see in one hand what looks like a massive hunk of warp stone that he begins to squeeze and crush, and as it crushes, it begins to fuel into his sorceress power that he is pulling together. Are you doing anything, Wolfram?
First I'm going to stand up, because the Bragadin's behind me would have had to hunch down.
It's true.
And have a hand in my mouth. It's very short. This is as a player, I'm doing the same thing. I'm gonna kind of look back and forth because the camp and my colleagues are here, but the room with Archon and Bragadin is here, and that's probably more than my brain can handle. I'm a lover, not a thinker.
The kind of hunched necromancer, the grizzled old man thing, Crane is there as well by your side as he begins to cackle. He begins to kind of like, uncharacteristically, he begins to get a little bit loud, and Bragadin shoots him this like red-eyed look. The horses in the camp begin to stir. They begin to whinny and cry out. Looks like the camp is starting to move. Some people beginning to get up. Luther, you are shot awake as you feel a surge of the winds around you, massive, bigger than anything you've ever experienced. Wolfram being the only one outside in time to see this, you watch as thousands of black, shadowy hands erupt from the ground and lance themselves upward in a massive dome around the encampment, with no one to watch as Nog slumbers nearby. The entire camp engulfed in the shadowy presence. Everything goes cold and dark. Luther, as you remove yourself from your tent, you feel a shock. As you felt this experience before, you are no longer tethered to the mortal realm. You've been sent adrift. And after moments, everyone in the camp realizes, as the shadows recede as quickly as they coalesced, and you are somewhere out in the desert, much further away than where you started. The sun is beginning to rise. Wolfram stands at the edge of the camp.
Do we all see him, or do I see him, or?
You come out, you see Wolfram, but more shockingly, Luther, as you see Wolfram standing there, alive, well, healthier than he's ever looked. Behind him, a few miles away, just on the fringe, well, not even that far, on the fringe of your vision, you see what looks like walls. Stone, tall, built in what obviously is Bretonnian style, with flourishes of Chilean filigree. This is most certainly Sudenburg. Buildings well worn with age, but newer structures, built with wood and various other newer elements. A large port and a bay of ships, most of them bearing the marks of the Empire. However, screams and smoke raises from the city as blue fires ravage the skyline. Monstrous forms soaring through the air, distant as magic arcs like electricity to your eyes, Luther. Sudenburg is being seized by none other than the eyes of change. You may proceed.
What the fuck?
So I'm back with them now, or they're actually now with
You
me,
are.
right?
You're standing there as you look around. You see the chaos behind you, and you see that your party is with you, and somebody, no one saw who cast the obviously like almost cataclysmic spell, but everyone felt it, even those not gifted with the winds. The entire expedition was transported a great distance.
Luther, what took you so long? I'm so glad to see you. Is everyone here? Is everyone safe? I know you've been looking out for me for weeks, but I was here the entire time. All is well. Look at me.
Do I get the sense of what type of winds were used to cast this teleportation?
Well, first off, you would recognize shadow magic for sure, but you would also know that it was empowered in some way.
Okay.
A dark way.
Hi. Something impossible's happened. Wolfram, where did you come from?
I've been here. I've been waiting for you. We got separated, remember? And this Skaven, they abducted me and took me across the desert, and then I was in a really cool place. I think you would have liked it. It says a lot of gold there, a lot of weird stuff. There's these statues. I had to go through them. There was an army, and I slew them all as I smote them upon the ground, and then there was a nest of scorpions. I must have killed 70 or 80 of them. And then finally,
yes.
I was poisoned, stabbed in the back. You know all about that, stabbing in the back, I'm sure. But and then these strangest people took me in and healed my wounds, and guess I'm kind of looking around because it's like, well, they were here just a moment ago. Perhaps.
You don't see anyone, Wolfram. No one is there.
Mm-hmm. But that does not matter now. It is so good to see you guys. Where's the rest? Are they all still alive?
They are. Wolfram, you have an amazing ability to survive. We must be commended.
I'm a man of Austin. We're famous for it.
Of course. Unfortunately, I think we have more pressing matters as to how you turned up here and how we were shunted across the desert in a mere instant. The city of Sudenburg is burning, I assume, by Henry's old master. So,
wait, what? Oh, you're right.
What is happening? As you hear Nazaro begin to scream out, as some of the men are panicking as well.
Calm yourselves. Calm yourselves.
What? How did we move? Did you do this, Luther?
I did not. I am not sure, but unfortunately, it appears we have a.
See, he looks shocked. Is that Sudenburg? As he points towards the burning city.
It is. I should suggest we ready them in. We are off to war once more.
This is real time. This isn't a dream.
This is real time, baby.
Henry, it is so good to see you as well.
I completely ignore the fact that Wolfram is there, seeing Sudenburg burning.
Yes.
And I'm getting my stuff ready.
Begin to gear up. Nog farts in his sleep. It's rancid and horrible.
Only 67 calories, though.
It's true. He does still look engorged, possibly lethargic as he races.
Are we closer to Sudenburg? Like, are we there now? Where are we now?
You can see the city.
Whereas we couldn't before.
You can see it. It might take you 20 minutes to get there, maybe.
Okay.
You have been delivered.
Jeez. Literally.
Quite literally. So, you guys all begin to gather your equipment. Nazaro is trying to rally the men together. Everyone is confused, but also excited, and then a little on edge at what is possibly ahead of you. As you hear the cries of the screams of pain and anguish, as well as monstrous shrieks and roars coming from the city itself. Strange objects flying around the skyline. You begin to form up and move as quickly as possible. Nazaro ordering what's left of the veterans to form up around the caravan, preparing it for possible assault. Wolfram, I'm assuming you take up a spot up on the caravan, up on one of the wagons.
We don't have any missile troops anymore for me to command, right?
No, you don't.
Okay.
You are the missile troop.
Yeah, best Spanish position I can get to.
Yeah. You get up on one of the wagons. There's only maybe 2 or 3 left, including Feng Shi's wagon. As you move closer and closer to the city, you get to see a better view of what's happening. It's in fact wreathed in blue flame. It's burning. And as you get closer, you see that there is what looks like a massive hole that has been blown out of the nearest wall. But it doesn't look like it was done with normal means, as the bricks and masonry appear to be moving and shifting as if they were alive, wriggling. So what are we doing?
Do we see the main force that's attacking the city outside the walls, or are they inside the
You
city?
don't see anything outside the walls.
They've already breached the city.
It appears that whatever has happened has already happened, and they are perhaps inside the city itself.
I guess we'll just kind of head our way towards an entrance or a gate that we can find.
There is the massive hole in the wall
that
I just described that has the wriggling masonry. Should you choose to venture forward.
Is that blown in or blown out? Like, is it someone breaching the gates to get in, or is it something that happened inside that blew the walls out?
Strangely, it looks like both, Wolfram.
Okay.
It's hard to imagine. It is not natural by any means, whatever has happened. Luther might be able to elucidate that, the winds of magic are strange, and the followers of the Changer of Ways are capable of some truly horrendous and mind-boggling things.
I assume if the hole is big enough for us all to go through, it's the quickest way through.
It is.
I say that way. But if it's not, then finding a different entrance.
As you approach the hole in the wall. Were you going to say something, Wolfram?
Yeah, I'm going to yell at the wagon handler.
Mm-hmm.
Faster. Forward, faster.
One of the harem guard that is steering the wagon looks over towards you and begins to give a little bit more speed to the laboring animal. You make it to the breach in the wall. Who's leading? Would
Henry.
It be Henry and his knights?
Yeah.
Bringing up the rear.
First off, Henry, as you get closer, you see as Baudry next to you. His helm has been removed. You don't know where it is. It's not on his head anymore.
That's not safe, Baudry.
He looks like he is so focused on what's coming ahead. He's panting. There's saliva dripping out of his mouth. He looks towards you, then looks back. You notice that there's almost a unnatural anticipation to his movements, and you see the same motions in your remaining knights, Henry, and you feel a little bit yourself. You feel the anticipation of blood being spilled ahead. As you make it to the actual masonry, you notice that the rock, the brick, the mortar is no longer brick and mortar. It is flesh, and it is moving. It is alive. Mouths, teeth, eyes, ears, strange, spindly little arms and legs sprouting from every piece of rock and brick as they scuttle about, almost insectile, moving hither and thither, biting and clawing over one another. A carpet of madness leading to the breach in the wall. Baudry looks towards you.
Forward.
Yes. Henry's getting upset. I'm going in.
You strike your horse leading. As you do, you hear the screams of the creatures that are smashed underfoot of your horses as they begin to gallop up the steep hill of writhing flesh. As it crunches and bleeds, it bleeds the strange bluish black blood bubbles up and spatters across the under armor of your horse and yourself. Baudry reaches down with one hand, scraping what looks like almost talons that have like sprouted from one of his gauntlets, and slices through some of the skin. Blood dripping from one arm as he holds the reins with the other. Yes, blood! As they charge forward into the breach. The rest of you coming in behind. Yes, Henry.
I'm gonna command the important members of the party to stay as close to me as possible within my coolness aura.
Okay. The next people up. The veterans look hesitant, but seeing Henry move ahead, they move in as best they can. Some of them getting, those of you walking are having a harder time as your feet sink into the fleshy carpet, the wriggling masses beneath you. Some of the men even cutting into it, slicing this abominable mutations and aberrant flesh that has been summoned by the winds of magic. Cutting your way through, moving up the carpeted mass to the breach in the wall. Henry already through, him and his knights, moving very, very quickly. The wagons have a much harder time moving up. In fact, they need to be braced and pushed by some of the veterans moving back and pushing them with the aid of... It was difficult indeed to get the pack animals to even carry them up this way, but with enough skill, which by now your caravan are very skilled handlers of such, are able to move it without any checks necessary, move it into the breach and through the hole. But it does take time.
Did Luther and Lucian and Nog go with Henry when he said he'd keep the important people close?
It's up to you.
No, I mean, did I see them go with
Henry? So if Henry is staying with his knights, they are pushing, they are blood crazed, moving farther ahead than everyone else. Whoever wants to keep up with them can. Whoever wants to stay with the caravan can.
I figured I would have been moving up as fast as I could.
Right, Lucien running up as fast as he can.
I'll stay with the caravan.
Lucien, Johanna with you as well. She would have offered you one of the horses that she had procured from your previous losses. You and her could ride together through the breach. Luther, where are you going to be?
Probably close to the front with Ignis. And
are you moving away from, because it takes a little while to move the actual carriages, like the actual wagons through the breach?
Yeah.
Henry's pulling farther ahead. Lucien's going with him.
Okay.
Are you sticking with the wagons, or are you moving with Henry and his knights? Those are your options.
What did Wolfram do?
I think Nox is going to sound like the melee guard around here, but I think Wolfram would rather follow. We can kind of stick together. Plus, you may need to put the hurting on somebody to help you guys out. So yeah.
All right, so Wolfram is going to join the rest of you up front. Nog, are you doing the same?
No, we'll stick with the caravan to provide security.
Yes.
Yes,
indeed,
if we all move to the front, it's going to be bad.
So Nog stays with the wagons. What is Luther going to do?
I'm worried about Nog.
Should you be?
I don't know.
Oh no, Mr. Luther. The rest of that crew, they need you. I'll be fine. I got Rory.
I'll check back on you as soon as I can, Nog.
You're the best, Mr. Luthor.
Fly, Felicity. And I
Okay.
have Felicity gallop up.
It's a horse gallop.
Wait, one thing. If I can't find a horse, I'll probably stay with the caravan. I'm not gonna chase on foot after my horse.
You can have a horse. Wolfram.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. How's your ride, Wolfram?
The actual skill,
Yeah,
67.
Do you have a point in it?
I have a lot of points in it.
In ride?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Fantastic. That's what I like to hear.
Right.
You jump onto your horse. You follow, trailing Luther, Nog, staying back with the caravan, choosing to protect wagons, and the rest of your party as your hardened veteran troops don't have horses. They can't keep up. They're staying with the wagon itself. Looking towards Nazaro at this point, being the most senior commander that begins to give orders. Nog, you witness as he begins to tell the men to form up as they finally breach their way through the wall and see the devastation that is wrought before you. Up ahead, Henry, you're much farther ahead than the rest of our party as you and your knights push ever forward. Almost a scent of blood on the air, the screams of the dying calling you. You notice that some of the buildings themselves are moving and shifting, but not collapsing, as if they have been changed. They are no longer mortar and stone, but perhaps something more living. As the blue flames of Zinch dance around the path of destruction that you are following deeper into the city. The city is not incredibly large. Lashik would have been 2 or 3 times this size. But what it lacks in area, it makes up for in sheer mass of individuals. You could tell that this area was packed. The buildings are tighter together, taller as well. As you see up ahead, you hear actual screams, and finally you hear the first actual fighting that is currently taking place. As you turn a corner, Henry, you see up ahead what looks like a swarm of tattered remnants of what looks like probably at one point was regal clothing, bare-skinned with strange mutant appendages ripping off them in various places. A mob, what appears to be probably around 40 or 50 cultists, humans warped and changed. They are, looks like they're trying to break their way into a barred, large building. The doors are double set, large and wooden, braced, obviously. There's holes that have been smashed into them, as these cultists have various axes and things. Behind the cultists themselves, you see 6 heavily armored figures. Their armor a strange bluish hue. Eyes open up along the backs of the plates. They're large-helmed, beaked, and kind of ridged, almost like that of a bird. As they begin to turn, you recognize the warriors, your former knight companions.
Yes.
The eyes of change are here.
Everyone's on foot?
They are not. They're on what look like these strange-looking... Their horses have almost engorged like muscle. They're bigger than they were before. And the horses have what looks like a bird's like beak where their nose should be. And they have almost like lizard-like scales across most of their flesh. Some kind of chaos mutant steed of some kind. These are most certainly Knights of Zeech.
Men! Lance is ready!
Say,
And then...
give me a command roll, Henry.
Oh, I got that first. Command. What's command? Is it leadership? Or is there
Leadership,
actual...
yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, is there? No, it's leadership.
Okay. Oh, I put points into this.
What do we got?
Spinning like a top right now. That's not
it.
good.
I don't see it.
Oh,
Not 54.
it's just a success.
A success. A success. With a success, you are
barely.
able to, for now, you're able to stifle the bloodlust of your knight companions as Baudry almost drops his weapons. You see him almost leap from his horse as your command, as you bellow out towards your knights as they begin to, they fall back into line, grabbing their lances. Baudry howls like a wolf. Veins like dripping blood from the ridges of his mouth.
I mean, Henry's barely holding it together as well.
As,
As we pull our lances out, I'm gonna yell for the Empire, and I'm gonna charge in.
yes. As you charge in, the knights, the knights that you see, they pull towards you and then they pull away and move past the cultists, giving you an opening into the warm, soft flesh.
Valuable.
Depends on what you plan on doing, Henry. Are you chasing after the knights? Or
So
are
were the
you
knights,
just...
the knights just broke off completely, or are they trying to like circle us?
They broke off and they moved down a thoroughfare to what would be the south.
So farther away?
Yeah, they see you coming and break
Yeah.
off and move in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, I want to run these cultists over.
Okay, you immediately, Henry, your bloodlust gets the best of you.
Does.
Go ahead and make me a charge roll, which is a melee attack with your charge bonus. Get a +10 to the roll.
Yeah. Let's see, 35 out of 64. And then I have a
Okay.
+10?
Yeah, you have a +10 to this roll because of the charge.
74.
So 4 degrees of success plus you're on your horse plus, so you get to double your strength bonus. Now you're using your lance, you're not using your hammer, correct?
Yes, we're losing the lance
Okay.
for now.
All right. How much damage is that going to be from you?
It would be 17 plus.
Does the
It'll
lance
be-
get impact, I think?
It does, so it'd be another 5.
Yeah, another 5. So 22.
2?
Yeah, 22. 22 damage. You doubled your strength score?
I did not.
So what's your strength modifier?
My strength right now is a 56.
So you get another 5 on top of that. So 27.
27.
Yeah, because since you're a size bigger and they're a size smaller, you hit
Mm-hmm.
harder. So 27 points of damage. That's just from you. Let me roll for your knights on the charge. All right. Baudry gets a critical with an 11. Your general knights, actually, they get the same roll as you. They're not as skilled as you, but they still are going to be pretty successful in this. The cultists are taken by surprise. They can't really defend themselves on this charge. As you begin to just smash through, just bodies exploding and limbs of writhing mutated flesh burst and explode everywhere. Baudry's head rolls back as blood cakes the front of his face and the rest of his armor. Same happens to you, Henry. As you begin to savage your way into the writhing mass, I need you to make a cool test, Henry.
Is this related to chaos?
As far as...
Fearless.
No, not for fear.
Okay. Cool test. Oh, I gotta re-roll that.
Ooh, at 85. Not looking good.
My cool's pretty high, but that's not gonna do it either.
92 is not going to do it either, Henry.
Nope, not fail. I'm just gonna take the fail on this one.
Okay, you fail, Henry.
I don't have a lot of points to be re-rolling.
Henry, you become frenzied.
Frenzied. I mean, it would make sense.
You lose your senses. The lance gets stuck and you drop it. You reach down, grab your warhammer, and just begin slaying.
It's hammer time.
You begin slaying. You watch as your fellow knights completely lose their minds. Most of them drop weapons entirely and just reach down, grabbing people with these thick, gauntleted, muscled palms and crushing heads as they begin to savage their way through the cultist mob.
I want every one of those cultists dead.
You're ripping through them like maddened hounds, blood crazed. When Luther, Lucian, and Wolfram come up from behind, seeing the massacre unfolding before you. As you see it, Luther, you start to hear a strange noise as you look down and you see the devastation that Henry and his knights are performing. They have slain the majority of these cultists who are beginning to flee as you see the knights peeling off and crushing them underfoot. As you're taking in the sight, you hear a strange shrieking, whistling noise coming from above. And as you look up, you see what looks like a metallic disc scything. What looks like a demonic face on the front of it, a mouth open, shrieking. It's rotating like a top, but moving in your direction, barreling down from the sky. Standing atop it, armored, blue-clad knights of Tzeentch, riding discs as they thunder downwards with large lances of flaming blue fire in their hands. That's where we're going to take our first break.